Hi everybody, it's Philip from FTP Shooting Sports, and I'm here to answer a common question that we receive on our laser training cartridge. Now, most of the videos we've done demonstrate using the laser training cartridge with a double action trigger. A lot of people are asking, is this a benefit to me if I have a single action trigger? And the answer I can give you is absolutely. Many of the things that you're doing with the double action trigger are just a matter of being more convenient, that you don't have to reset the hammer each time. However, you can accomplish the same thing with a single action gun. It requires a little more work by the end user, but the results are just the same. Great. Well, let's show you some training exercises you can do with a single action gun. I will be demonstrating with my STI Open gun. This, of course, is a single action 2011 platform gun. And many other guns, striker fired guns, anything where you have to manually reset the trigger would work just the same. In the case of a striker-fired gun, we've had some questions asking, if you rack slide, will the cartridge be ejected? And the answer is no. This cartridge is designed without a rim and without an extractor groove, so it will not be ejected when you rack the slide. And of course, we can practice our strong hand and our weak hand draws. Another thing we can practice that people have trouble with is hitting a specific target after a reload or before a reload. Now, with the single action trigger, you can still practice entering positions, exiting positions, and reset the hammer in between the positions so that you don't have to stop and only do one target in each of your training exercises. Let me demonstrate. Lastly, we can still do our shooting on the move exercises. In this scenario, much like I described before, we will do a trigger prep, but not press all the way through on the targets that we're not too concerned with. And on the target we're moving, that we want to really concentrate on the trigger press, that one I will follow all the way through to drop the hammer. Let me demonstrate. The sky's the limit when it comes to your training scenarios. Anything you can come up with, you can probably carry out with the laser cartridge. In this particular scenario, I'm going to imagine that there's 3 targets that I can engage off of the draw while standing. And then there's a 4th target that can only be engaged through a low port. Further, in order to engage the last target, I'm going to imagine that I have to perform a reload. Now that's going to be the target you're typically going to miss in a match situation because you're changing position and you're also reloading. So that's going to be my critical target where I'm going to do the follow through with the hammer to ensure I actually hit the target. Let's give it a shot. Similarly, we could perform the same action from a kneeling position and then coming back up where we have a vice versa situation. Imagine a kneeling draw. Do you have trouble with uprange starts? Maybe when you're turning and drawing, you'll find that you missed the first target, because that's the critical target in the start. This is another great place to use the laser cartridge. You can actually get in a pretty good rhythm of resetting the hammer in between shots. And that will allow you to shoot more than one target in an array, perhaps simulating some more difficult shots at a distance, hard cover, partial cover, stuff like that. Let me demonstrate. Another great training exercise that's perfect for the laser cartridge is transitions. In this particular scenario, I will be aiming at the target at the left and then performing a quick transition to the target on the right. Now usually people will miss the transition target because they sweep the muzzle past the target and pull the trigger, or they'll shoot a D or perhaps a C coming into the target because they pulled the trigger too soon. With the laser training cartridge, you'll know exactly where the shot would have been. Now the camera may not have picked it up that well, but in each situation where I had a miss, I knew exactly where my shot was. I could see the laser hit on the target outside of the reactive sensor. Now on the next pass, I was able to correct that by having a little more patience, stopping the gun a little bit slowly, and making sure that I have a good trigger press to hit the reactive target. Now take some of the tips I've given you, add a little creativity, and come up with your own training exercise. Keep them in the A zone.